What is up, you guys? Brooke here, and today I'm going ahead and doing the writing routines tag. Two of my writing buddies actually created this tag. One of them is Emily Bourne, and she is known on YouTube as Emily LunaticWritingABook, and then the other person is WriteHollyDavis, which is Holly Davis. And Holly actually was the one who tagged me to go ahead and do their take on this tag here. So let's go ahead and talk about some of my writing routines. As usual, I am reading off of my laptop, which is just right over here, so my eyes will be down here a lot of the time. Question number 1, do you stick to an outline when drafting? What's an outline? I've never heard of this before. Totally kidding, I definitely know what an outline is, and I don't do them. I am a pantser. More so of the time, I am a plantser, which means I'm a plotter and also a pantser. But whenever I plot in my head. And I don't plot on a page. I don't follow any type of guideline whatsoever to help me writing out the structure and the plots and the storyline of my book. I just find I am more creative going at it on my own and going at it whenever I am just in the moment. Outlining is for me. I hope I didn't spit on the camera. Sorry, guys. Sneeze. Have to sneeze. God, sorry. Question number 2, how long do you take to develop characters before drafting? Or do you use the drafting process to get to know your characters? I know pretty much before I start actually writing the first draft of my book, the personalities of my characters. Yeah, I have an idea of what their personality is gonna be, but I don't wanna like just put it to where it's set in stone where I can't alter some things with their personality. So you could say that I kind of do a little bit of both. I kind of know their overall personality type before actually drafting, but then as I'm writing the story, I do discover more things about them along the way. Number 3, what gets you in the zone to write? Get in the zone, auto zone, or should it be writing zone? If I'm wanting to try and get into the writing zone, I usually can get into the writing zone pretty decently if I'm thinking about my book all day long. If I kind of am knowing where I had left off on, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, what am I writing next? What all was I wanting to try and fit into the next chapter? If I just am thinking about that all the time at work, it makes me so excited to leave my desk job to go home and just be creative and have fun playing around with what all my characters would be doing. I get into the writing zone by hitting the scenes that I have envisioned in my head so perfectly, and it's starting to lay out the way I'm wanting them to. Sometimes I have to be in the writing zone for like about 20 minutes or so before I can finally be like, all right, everything's happening, everything is clicking. Question number 4, what time of day do you write? And also, do you stick to specific days to write? Weekdays I'm kind of all over the place because of work. Most of the time I can go ahead and write pretty decently if I come straight from work and I start writing as soon as I get home. But if I take a break or whatever as soon as I get home, then after that break I'm like, oh, well, I can go ahead and start eating dinner. And then after dinner, you're like, oh, I need to let the food digest a while. I'll go ahead and watch something else while I'm digesting. And so it just is like excuse after the other. So sometimes work days are hard for me to write just because I make up stupid excuses to not write. Most of the time I do write on the weekends. I love to write on the weekends because I don't have anywhere I really need to be unless I had plans to meet up with friends or family, but most of the time those plans are usually more so at nighttime, and I'm a much better writer in the daytime. Morning or daytime just kind of depends on how I'm feeling at the time, but yeah, morning or daytimes is usually my perfect time to go ahead and get some major writing done. Question number 5, do you always write in the same place/room? I get my best writing done here at my desk. That being said, I can write on the couch, but if I do write on the couch, it most of the time has to be during the daytime, which would be a weekend day. Because if I do write on the couch at nighttime, I do feel myself drifting away. I do feel myself starting to just totally fall asleep and lose all concentration on my book because I don't focus on my book at that time. I focus on trying to stay awake, and so the focus is not there. And so writing on the couch at nighttime sucks, but it can be done in the daytime. But most of the time I do write at my desk or on my couch or in my bed right before I'm about to sleep. But most of the time that doesn't work well either because I am hella comfy in my bed right before nap time. Question number 6, do you listen to music during a writing session? I do really enjoy listening to music scores from movies, and so I have all of my Spotify music pretty much just movie soundtracks. Sometimes if I'm like really in the writing zone, I sometimes will turn off my music because it might not be the right type of song I'm wanting to listen to at the time, and I'm not wanting to take away time from my book to try and find the perfect song to fit the scene and like the emotion levels of what the scene is doing. So that's why I'll sometimes turn off my music, because I don't want to take away from the scene to just look for a proper song. I don't want to do that. I want to just focus on what I'm doing. Question number 7, how long are your typical writing sessions? I have never been diagnosed with ADD, but dude, the older I get, the more I'm just kind of like, do I have ADD? Oh look, squirrel! That's how I always am. I get distracted so easily, and I don't know if it's just because I'm a millennial with a cell phone, or if it's because I've just always have been like so used to like having my distractions take hold of me. So with that being said, I get distracted a lot, so sometimes my writing sessions, they will be a long duration of time, but with lots of breaks in between. There'll be lots of times where I will write for 3 hours, but how many hours were really dealt with the writing? I guess it just kind of depends on me that day and like how focused I am. Oh, question number 8. Do you read back your work or edit your work before writing the next chapter? I used to be a victim of a lot of this stuff in this question. I used to be a writer where as soon as I would write down something, I would go back to that paragraph immediately and re-edit it, and I would choose different words and I would restructure the sentences, and I would just spend so much time on stuff that I had just written over and over and over again. I would just re-edit everything and not continue on with following chapters. I would just be stuck in this pit of where I would be re-editing and reworking with sentences that would probably maybe be deleted anyway once the book was all done. I mean, that's a lot of time that you would be devoting to certain pages or chapters of your book that may not be necessary when everything's all finalized. So far, I'm killing this old habit of mine, and I hope I can bury it away forever because I hated doing that, and I feel like I've made so much progress now on my book that I am like, you know what, I'm never doing that again. I'm never going back and revisiting that old habit of mine. And question number 9, what's your average goal for a writing session? Would that be word count or pages written or etc.? Since I write on Scrivener, it's a little bit harder to see like how many pages you've written, so I try and strive to focus more on word count, especially since I feel like word count, I can see more of a progress and I can see more stuff happening and building up. And it's really good to see the word count grow, because I mean, one day you might just be like, oh crap, I only had time to write 300 words. But sometimes if you have several days of where you only wrote 300 words, that builds up over time. And sometimes those days of where it was just a measly 300 words at the time, it builds up into so much more. After experiencing this Camp NaNoWriMo, I do want to try and aim for 1,000 words to write for every single writing session, but it's made me realize that if for some reason I can't hit 1,000 words every single session of writing, that's okay, because any type of amount that you put down is going to be just so beneficial to your book in the long run, and it's just going to keep you going until you finally get to write down those 2 beautiful words at the end of your book, and those 2 words are the end. Alright, so that was the writing routines tag. Thank you so much, HollyDavis, for going ahead and tagging me to do this. That was a lot of fun to go ahead and revisit some routines that I have that I hadn't really talked about in a long while. And so, or before at all, it was nice to be like, oh, I just now realized that I do this in a writing routine. I didn't really realize that before until just now. And now it's time to start tagging some people. Who shall it be? Who shall I tag? I'm I'm gonna go ahead and tag Bethany Atazadeh, and Bethany, I really do hope I am saying your last name correctly. I'm thinking I am, hopefully. And I'm also gonna go ahead and tag Mary Suggs. I think Mary would have a lot of fun doing this type of tag, and she's a very organized person, so I bet she'll have a lot more different types of answers than the ones I had said today. And if you liked what you saw today, feel free to give me a big thumbs up down below. Also feel free to subscribe because I wear lots of Disney shirts on my channel here. Can you see the Little Mermaid? Isn't she cute and pretty? What was I going with that? If you like Disney shirts, subscribe? Okay. And y'all should totally follow me on social media because I am on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all of the stuff. And thank you all so much for stopping by today, and I will see you next time. Bye!